What up, y'all? How goes it? Not that you can actually answer me, but if you do want to let me know how you're doing, you could always leave a comment. And really, I do like, at the very least, giving you a little kick of dopamine with that heart react. but I try to answer most comments, so we're in week 4. We don't have ourselves a live game. And would you look at this? This game is, well, I didn't manage to comment on it live, but it's yet another game between Century Express and somebody else. I do have a schedule open here, but my schedule doesn't really allow me to play or keep up with all these games and commentate whenever I like, willy-nilly. And you'll have to forgive me for that. Yeah, the next game is in 2 hours-ish. I don't have time for that. So, I do want to get other players on, and eventually I will. Now, we have Century Express versus Quartos. I prefer commentating from Quartos' perspective. Here we go. Quartos, I believe, subbed out, what's his name? Hyoga, if I'm not mistaken. Therefore, he should be on the scooters. And Raichi is then, Raichi's on a different team, but he also got subbed out this week. That's why I mentioned his name. Anyways, getting into this game, like I said, we don't have all that time. There's Jinx, there's Lax. Jinx likes to use Thief, although in the lead position, any Lax user does have to watch out for counter, because if you double edge a Jinx, yes, you get a whole ton of chip, but you could also get countered and no code. So you might want to chip it first. If you have, like, I don't know, if you have Flamethrower, then that's totally safe. If you have EQ, then that's not as safe. And of course, Curse EQ leads have to switch out. Usually in the first turn, a Sleep Talker is revealed. And so we do see this. That said, Century Express has used a lot of Sleep Talk double edge, as you already know. So Jinx Q. Jinx takes T-Bolt damage, but T-Bolt is not nearly as bad as Thunder. And in fact, Jinx is healthier than the Raikou. It deals more damage with the Ice Beam, apparently. Well, actually, it attacked twice, so this Lax is going to set up, and in comes Skarm, so Century Express is going to rock this defensive team. And there's a Toxic and a Flamethrower from Quartos, so that's kind of nasty, honestly. Cursed Flamethrower is very scary. You don't always see it on offense, because most teams have certain tools to beat stall with, but Cursed Flamethrower is the bane of many stall teams. So Century Express taking that Flamethrower, not necessarily scouting, is a bit risky. He could easily have gone to a Misdreavus or a Tyranitar, because most stall teams have both a Curse EQ Lax check and a Curse Flame Lax check. But the Skarm takes a burn here. And so in comes the T-Tar a bit late, because now that Skarmory is burnt, and it means it's on a timer as well. So Crunch dealing nice damage, but I don't think it's any better than Rock Slide, really. And so the Raikou coming in here as Quartos goes for a Thunder. Losing a little bit of that momentum there. This Raikou looks to be Sleep Talk, as we already mentioned. And the Lax is going to take a little bit of damage. To stay in on a Snorlax is very scary, doing a play like this. The reason why I think that, I don't know, personally I wouldn't do this. You have Tar, and to bring in, I understand respecting lax sets, but when is the last time you've seen Fire Blast EQ? Like, you would see it on certain kinds of teams. So you could stay in, you can feasibly stay in with a Raikou. But Double Edge deals like 50%. So it's really risky. And Flame Laxes usually have Double Edge, and they don't want Body Slam. But yeah. So there's a 4E. Well, there's no Sleep Talk, of course, because that would be weird. And then again, going back just real quick to this turn here with the Raikou, it's not that it was a bad turn per se, because the Lax is unboosted, you're Sleep Talking. It's the fastest thing in the game, so it will probably have a chance. But it could also be very abusable if it gets crit for any reason. So you don't want that if you can avoid it. Getting the chip is nice though, because then the Lax is further. It's at 57%. Now it's nearly in 2 hit KO range. So a lot of things could happen there. So that's it's not a bad play, but I'm just saying it's kind of risky. So before he's going to come in here and go for spikes. Not much to be said about the Cloy or the Zap so far. We saw that the Zap has Thunder, so it doesn't look to have Whirlwind. And look at how much that Double Edge, boosted Double Edge is doing. So quite a bit with the spikes and all that. So it's not going to be able to do this forever. It needs to find an opportunity to spin away these spikes. Good job from Quartos going to Licks here. Before he's going to come in. And Quartos does not click. Okay. So the reason for those the double sequence is interesting. But in any case, this double to Licks is nice. Personally, I might have clicked Roar, because Licks can pressure stall teams a lot, especially in the position that this one is in right now. The only thing that can come in safely on it is Skarmory. There is always that chance that you could roar in a Starmie, but you're in a good spot nonetheless. So you could shuffle a lot, even shuffling just once, and instead, Century Express wants to spin away the spikes. So Zapdos doesn't really threaten to Oko the 4E, but taking a Thunder means in the long run it might not be able to spin. So if you have double spin, that could be worth it, but it could also be a big problem. Now, as a friendly little reminder, the normal resists are in a lot of trouble. So some Forretress run Boom. Some of them. So it already looks like within less than 20 turns that Century Express is not going to be able to stall. And this is kind of why you want to scout, because his T-Tar is already down to 40. It's not going to be able to take +1 Double Edge and spikes. The Skarmory, even if it is Flame Lax, and the Skarmory, well, it's Skarmory, so it doesn't check Flame Lax. So you're in a really bad spot. So your only contingency plan could be 4E if you have a Boom. Some stalls do run Boom 4E. Others, like a Zakuru stall, don't. They have Hidden Power, Fire, and Toxic, and Rapid Spin and Spikes. But some have Boom. Now, in any case, if you take a Thunder, you're not going to be able to come in on Lax. You're not going to be able to come in on Lakes. You're not going to be able to come in on a lot of things. And this team is already pressured as it is. You won't find many spin opportunities. A lot of different reasons why you don't want to be taking a Thunder, even though it doesn't Oko you. Although a crit would certainly do that. So he switches out the 4E. Although I might have gone for the spin even then. But he goes to Coup. Now he goes to Skarm. And now the Skarm has to deal with this Lax again. So turn 21, Toxic missing, Burn. Burn does 13%. So yeah, that's tragic. Really, that went awfully. This is kind of why you have to watch out for this stuff. I mean, even I got called out once. So, you know, I haven't really seen super impressive stall games. But I think it's good to cover one every now and then. So we got Lax on Lax. It's going to use Rest. And here we're going to find out what exactly that is. And the Raikou has burned 2 turns. You have to watch out because there are certain Jinx Gengar teams that have mean look Paris song Gengar. So even if you do manage to wake up the Lax, it could die. So you've got to watch out for that. In comes Starmie. And Starmie, it's probably going to spin even though I don't like it, but at least it's going to get away those spikes. And now this looks even worse now. So he doesn't have a rest on the T-Tar because it's Crunch, probably. Meaning that he has to boom and he gets a lucky crit. If he had not crit, this was already going to be game. That's freaking crazy. Thunderbolt, Thunder. Jeez, even without now, Quartosa is in a really bad spot. But he has a spiker still, so he is able to pressure. He could poison the Starmie, chip it. He booms on the Mii, which is a bit precocious, I guess. What was he targeting? The Raikou? I don't know. I don't mind booming the Mii, but you have a Cloyster to do that with, in my opinion. It just seems better. Yeah. To me, it was... But what's he going to switch into Starmie is the question. He has this Perish Songar. He can trap the Raikou. He goes to Jinx. On a rest... That was a weird choice. Okay. If he had just clicked T-Bolt, he would have won right there. Alright, that's weird. So this Jinx is Sleep Talk. Oh no. That's a throwback to the previous week where Fear used this against Century Express, but it's clearly not paying off. Or is it? I don't see the point, really. Thief would do more. Thief. A bunch of different sets. This is weird. Raikou comes in. Every time Raikou is in, it threatens other things. It doesn't have Thunder, though, so it's not able to really threaten a 2-hit KO on Zap, which is kind of disappointing. It's going to expend a lot of PP just for that. And so we're going to speed things up just a tad. Sleep Talk turns, rest, nothing important. Raikou outspeeds, of course. Even with the Raikou out of the way, if this Zapdos runs out of attacking people... No, never mind. I was about to say something stupid. So, we do have ourselves this awkward-ass situation. As you can see here, Hidden Power doesn't do quite enough to take out the Zap. So you go for like 1 and 2, and it just rests and repeat. But the Zapdos has 4 PP left for Sleep Talk, and you need to crit. But there's no crit coming. No crit. Still no crit. Still no crit. And it's always just barely out of range. It's kind of disappointing. If this were maybe if the Zapdos were HP Water, it would be another story because it would have less bulk. So he decides finally to go to his lax, and Cloister comes in, and now it can permanently lay the spikes, but nope, Sentry makes a good double. And this time he gets a little bit of extra leeway there, because now the Zapdos has one extra turn to burn. It came in on a turn where it was asleep, and now we see what happens, and now the Zapdos is in range. So that was a good double. It was a good... going back to that sequence, just so you guys understand what's going on, because I went ahead, and it was kind of annoying, but like this was all we were seeing, right? Just a lot of hidden power, and then he brings in Snorlax on a turn that he knows the Zapdos will rest. He has revealed Curse, so that's kind of scary because there's a Tar, and it looks to be Sleep Talk, right? And he immediately doubles back. Doesn't even click a single button with the Lax, just goes right back, and now the Zapdos, you see that? Has 2 turns to burn, but this time the Raikou can 3-hit KO the Zap if things go well. So the Zapdos has to click Sleep Talk. And if everything doesn't go well for Century Express, he can always just attempt it a second time later. So the rolls weren't good, and so he finally manages to take out that. And now he just needs to get past this annoying-ass Jinx, right? So there's this. He does have a T-Tar. He switches about. Cloister Cloister joins the conversation. Unfortunately for Century Express, this Cloister is in, lays the spikes permanently, and can dip. So not only does it manage to stay alive, but it laid those spikes and it can boom after. So that's going to be a big deal. Lax, it's mono Lax, and he has to outstall this Jinx with still a frick ton of PP. The T-Tar has to somehow come in on this Gengar. So it's at 16%. We don't know what the last move is. But, okay. Crunch. And the Cloy goes down. That's fair. And Tar goes down to Ice Beam. Because even though... Yeah, Tar is a weird mon. It's kind of weird. If it weren't for its bulk, it would not be a good check to Gengar and to Jinx in Gen 2. Because they deal so much damage already. But yeah. So this Raikou comes in. And basically the way what it boils down to right now is, can the Gengar trap either the Raikou as it's sleeping or the Lax? Or can the Jinx get a Spadef drop or something? Or a freeze? And we'll see. So CE doesn't want to use all the PP. He has 2 hidden powers left. And 8 T-bolts. And Quartosa has 2 Sleep Talks left. And the Gengar is going to use Mean Look. The Raikou has 2 turns to burn, and it has to break through this Gengar, otherwise it's trouble. So there's Hidden Power, Debond. Gengar can trap, but that's a definitive loss. And it's going to go down. And so at that point, turn 99. The Lax is just going to set up, probably. And Jinx is going to hope for a, whatever, I guess. A freeze or a Spadef drop or something, and takes it out. So this was a little bit quick and kind of a robbery. Quartos probably deserved to win that in terms of prep, and Century Express got bailed out by the boom, honestly. But that's okay, I guess. Games are like that sometimes. It's just that critting on a boom already seems overpowered. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a religious Sunday and eat your greens. Stay tuned for some recaps and whatnot. I'm signing off.